This is Fred Ricciani and Scott Anderson, TSC News. We are here to recap WWE WrestleMania 33. I was going to say April 2nd, but it is now officially April 3rd, 2017, a Monday. I think we just had the longest WWE show in history. 7 hours long. And God bless Scott Anderson, who actually decided to get on camera for once, dressed up in a nice suit and tie and his New Day horn. Man, oh man, oh man, oh man, what a WrestleMania. We just witnessed Undertaker's last ride. We witnessed several title changes. We witnessed an amazing comeback featuring some broken brilliance, and we're here to talk about it. We're also going to answer some of your questions live on the air, read some of your comments, give some shout-outs. You name it. If you want to join the conversation, comment in the live chat on YouTube. Tweet us at Sports Courier using the hashtag TSC News, or hit us up on Facebook.com/The Sports Courier. Pardon me if I'm a little mentally exhausted right now. I think we all are, and I think the people in the arena, or that are leaving the arena, certainly are, because this show literally just wrapped up. Scott, how you feeling?
I'm tired, man. I was up at 8 this morning. Yeah, it's a long show for sure. I had a buddy down there live in Orlando. He got to the building probably about 10 hours ago now. Yeah, it was a long night for sure. Good matches, great pay-per-view altogether, but, you know, the negative about WWE having their own network for sure is the fact that it can be, 12:18 now on the East Coast, and they're just going off the air about 5 minutes ago. So it's a long night for sure.
Yeah, and I would imagine a lot of the people that watch WWE, including us, have jobs. And, you know, a lot of us have to wake up early for these jobs. And like you and I, we have to also commute to these jobs. And it's going to be a long day for us.
Well, for me, I don't have to go to work until about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I do have to wake up at 7.5 hours to take my daughter to school. So, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah. So, anyway, where the hell do we start here? We had the main event, which is Undertaker versus Roman Reigns. We had the Hardy Boys return. I mean, my goodness gracious. And we're also going to get Kim Angle, our buddy, on the phone, who was at the Orlando Citrus Bowl for WrestleMania. But I guess
you're forgetting another return, by the way, Fred.
Jim Ross.
There you go.
Yeah, our buddy Jim Ross. God bless him. God rest Jen Ross's soul. He signed a new deal with WWE. It was almost like a gift from her, you know what I mean, in a weird, like, spiritual way, kind of. And
yeah,
you know, he's been gone for so long, and then, you know, he decides I'm going to go work in Orlando, and even though he had every right to miss all his appearances, and then what happens? WWE says, you know what, we're going to bring you back, and it's weird because he's technically still under contract with Access, but I think he's going to be on, like, the major shows and some network specials, which is pretty cool, and came out for the last match, which began, I think, at 11:30, maybe 11:35.
Yeah, and a little bit after 11:30.
And it was Undertaker versus Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns was definitely a heel in the match. He had his work cut out for him, as we talked about before this pay-per-view. Undertaker did not move well at all, and I just did not like the layout of the match. I did not like the match placement. I know it's WrestleMania and they could go as long as they want, but I think they did a great disservice to the Undertaker. You know what? Undertaker, doing a disservice to Undertaker, I'd say maybe yes, but at the end of the day, you know, he got his moment at the end and everything, which we'll talk about. I think they did a huge disservice to Roman Reigns, because for the second straight year, this dude had his main event match go on well after 11 o'clock when the crowd and viewers around the world were mentally and maybe at times physically exhausted. Never mind the fact that the match layout was not all that great. I mean, they started off strong, beating each other up, very aggressive. Undertaker knocked Roman out of the ring a few times, said, "This is my yard." We had a spear through the Spanish announcer's table, I believe. We had some cool spots here and there. We had Undertaker hit the tombstone. Roman Reigns kicked out. And then things got kind of sloppy. Kind of weird. And Scott, you know which spot I'm talking about, where Roman Reigns looked like he was going to reverse the tombstone, where, you tip Taker over and, flip him upside down and you get into the tombstone. I mean, they've done it in almost every major Undertaker match, right? I mean, Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, Edge, Undertaker, Batista, Undertaker was probably the coolest looking one at WrestleMania 23.
Yeah, it's been done plenty of times for sure.
And Undertaker just collapsed. They botched it.
Twice.
And it was really sad, and thankfully the crowd was either too tired or had too much respect for Taker to chant "You effed up," and they ended up having Roman Reigns hit the Superman punch on Undertaker, but Undertaker kicked out. And at the end, and this took forever, man. At the end, we had Undertaker get hit by not one, not two, but 3 spears to lose clean in the middle of the ring. It was really weird because he kicked out of 1 spear, took forever to get up, got hit with another spear, kicked out, took forever to get up. And then, after that, Roman Reigns picks Undertaker up, or Undertaker slowly rises up, but he kind of sort of picks Undertaker up, and he says, okay, this is my yard now. And he, uppercuts him a couple times. And then just bounces off the ropes, once or twice, gets some more momentum, hits the spear, pins Undertaker. It was a pretty heelish way to do the "I'm sorry, I love you" moment, as we saw the last time WrestleMania was in the Citrus Bowl, WrestleMania 24, with Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair. And Undertaker got pinned, 1, 2, 3. Roman just stared back at the ring on the ramp, the gigantic ramp, with the beautiful set, but the gigantic
84-yard ramp.
Yeah. And
here's my video went out, by the way, Fred. I don't know what happened there.
It's okay.
Guess the camera doesn't love me, apparently.
Hey, it's all right. The crowd didn't love Roman Reigns as the fireworks went off. And, man, if they are keeping Roman Reigns as a babyface, is there a worse way than this? I mean, seriously, at least do the Nick Diaz, Frank Shamrock moment for those that don't know. Back in Strikeforce, I think it was Frank Shamrock's last fight at Strikeforce. It could be wrong. One of his last fights. Nick Diaz kicked Ken Shamrock. Ken Shamrock broke his arm, collapsed in a heap, and the fight was over. And afterwards, Nick Diaz, who, if you guys know anything about Nick Diaz, this brash, cocky guy that likes to talk trash, picked Frank Shamrock up off the mat and said, "You're a legend," raised his arm, and let Frank Shamrock have his moment. I think it would have been pretty classy and pretty cool if they had Roman Reigns do that. Now, I know it was better, I guess, in a way, as a standalone moment to have Undertaker lay there and then eventually rise up. But I don't know. If you're trying to make Roman Reigns the top babyface, man, they didn't do a good job here. Maybe they just said he's going to be heel anyway. Let's have him act heelish. I don't know. But that's what happened. So, yeah, we had Undertaker lay on the mat. Roman Reigns walked away. Afterwards, Undertaker rose up. Crowd chanted, "Thank you, Taker." Then we heard Undertaker's music. They showed several replays of what happened in the match. And then Undertaker took his gear, had it already on after the replays ended, left his gloves in the middle of the ring, left his jacket in the middle of the ring, and then he left his hat in the middle of the ring. And this crowd that had been patiently sitting around for 7 hours gave Undertaker a thunderous ovation, told him thank you. He went outside. He kissed his wife, Michelle McCool, former Divas and Women's Champion, in the front row, hugged his kids, walked down the ramp, turned back to the ring one last time, raised his fist, and then got lowered down, presumably to hell or Hell's Gate. And yeah, Scott, that is the end of The Undertaker. Scott?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
I'm still kind of weeping over that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was sad for sure. It was a good ending. I know off camera when they went up to the ramp was lit on fire like Undertaker does, so that was cool. I get the ending of it. I agree with the placement. I agree with the layout. Not very well done. Roman back-to-back Manias has not had good main events, but I get why they did it, being it's the Undertaker's last match. So I can't complain.
You know what's sad about this? You said 2 straight Manias he's had no good matches, right?
Right.
They actually think that they were doing right by him in this position. They actually think they were doing a good job.
Yeah.
Think about that. They think they're doing a good job with Roman Reigns. Somebody thought it was a great idea to have his match go on well after 11 o'clock for the second straight year against one of the most beloved superstars in WWE history. Somebody thought that was a good idea.
Well, you couldn't do what you did and not have it as the main event,
True,
so.
but you also didn't have to have the event go on for 7 hours.
Well, except for Pitbull performing, what do you cut out?
Dude, WrestleMania 20, and WrestleMania 20 was not as good of a card as this, but WrestleMania 20, I believe, once had 12 matches on the show.
No, a lot of the earlier WrestleManias did. I know.
They somehow magically got done within 4 hours.
Different time. Not an 84-yard entrance ramp either.
True, but still. We've had WrestleManias with a ridiculous number of matches. I mean, I think WrestleMania 20 is the one that stands out to me as the one that had probably the most in the history before this one. But seriously, that's insane.
I'm just looking at the times for that match. That match went 23 minutes. It didn't seem like it went that long. Huh. Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know. Just, man, oh man. It's weird. Because on one hand, it was a great send-off for The Undertaker, even though the match was not really good at all. At the same time, I don't know how to put it in a way that doesn't sound mind-boggling. A top babyface in WWE just pinned The Undertaker in his last match in the main event of WrestleMania 33, and I honest to God believe it did absolutely nothing for that babyface. Is it fair to say that win over The Undertaker in his last match, unless Roman Reigns is turning heel, did literally nothing for him?
Yeah,
That's kind of sad.
It wasn't going to do anything for him anyway. So, I mean, as far as that goes, I get it, but yeah, I mean,
and I don't want to be that guy.
They were in a no-win situation. We know
I don't want to be that guy. Okay, I do not want to be that guy in all caps.
Nice.
But you do realize something. We never got Undertaker versus John Cena at WrestleMania.
Well, we never got Sting and Undertaker either, so.
Yeah.
You know what, though? If this match was the same with John Cena, I'm glad we didn't get John Cena versus The Undertaker.
No disrespect to Roman Reigns, I think this match would have been better with John Cena. Not as far as maybe like technically or anything like that, but I think more so just the crowd. You know what I mean? I think the crowd.
If Cena was doing some of Roman's heel moves, he might have gotten cheered. So, yeah. Maybe as far as that goes, but I don't know.
It just, I don't know, man. It's, yeah. It is what it is. Undertaker's career is over. Much respect to The Undertaker. God bless him. He had a great career. It was great to hear Jim Ross on commentary. The few minutes that Jim Ross spent on commentary were probably the best commentary we've heard in WWE in the last 5-6 years. So there is that. Bright side right there. Actually, I think the last major match Jim Ross called was... I think, was it not WrestleMania in Orlando, WrestleMania in Miami, I think. WrestleMania 28, when Undertaker wrestled Triple H, and it was the end of the era match, which I recall saying I thought Triple H and Undertaker should have retired after that match because they couldn't peak after that. Now, Triple H ended up having some great matches after that. Undertaker had a couple more really good matches, but yeah, I think it's safe to say Undertaker probably should have retired a few years ago. So.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean... Man. It was tough to watch, but yeah.
Yeah, and our buddy Kim says that she will message us when she's back home, assuming she gets through that Orlando traffic. So when she's back home, we'll try to get her on the air, and we'll chat about her live event experience. But, man, I know everybody's tired. Let's go through the show for people that didn't see it or are interested in our thoughts real quickly. I just want to give a shout-out to some of the people that are watching us live. Telvin Kipapa, who says that most of the right people won. Brian Gaxiola is saying, what's up? What's up, guys? Russ Broski said, if Undertaker will stay in character or break character in his Hall of Fame speech, breaking character would be probably similar to his real-life self, not the dead man self.
Sorry about that. It's so late here that my hands accidentally exited out of Skype. I apologize.
Oh, no worries. No worries. It's all good, man. Yeah, I know you're sad about the Undertaker and your little... emotional.
I'm still emotional about what we saw about 9:30 as well, which we'll get to. So,
yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Jonathan Dorr says, delete, Mr. Poppins, who might be related to Mary Poppins, says, great WrestleMania minus the last part. Terrell Scott, I like the Orton match too. The ring stunts were great / creepy. They were pretty creepy.
was different.
Very, very different. Okay, Mike Hood says we should have a moment of silence. We definitely did in our own time. Harvey Cash, what's up, Fred? Hey, just recapping WrestleMania. And Alan Wu, he says, this is almost like Michael Jackson dying in storyline. I mean, the King of... that's a little dramatic.
I don't know if I'd go that far,
yeah,
but yeah.
it's a little dramatic, dude. But yeah, it's rough. So, all right, let's start from the bottom, I guess, shall we? Way back several years ago at 5:30.
Pretty much. Back when the sun was shining, there was no weather issues.
I was a few years younger, yeah.
Yeah.
We had Neville versus Austin Aries for the Cruiserweight Championship. This was an awesome match. I wish it got better placement, but hey.
And they gave it 15 minutes.
Yeah,
so.
You know what, though? If it was on the main card, it would have gone like 5-10 minutes, maybe.
Exactly.
So Neville beat Aries with the red arrow. This is a brilliant spot where Aries locked in the last chancery. Neville raked Aries' eyes, Aries' injured eye, where he had the broken orbital bone, and it was away from the referee's viewpoint. Neville then went for the red arrow, hit it, got the 1-2-3. I predict tonight on Raw that they are going to have Neville versus Aries in a rematch, and Aries in front of a hot WrestleMania Monday Raw crowd is going to pin Neville, to win the Cruiserweight Championship.
Which is another great way to kill 205 Live.
Yeah, but you know what? I think it's better on Raw. It's going to make it a bigger deal. But I know what you're saying.
But...
Yeah. Mojo Rawley won the freaking Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal that did not include Samoa Joe.
There was a reason Mojo won that match, and we know why. But more importantly, Jinder Mahal was the last one that he eliminated.
Yes. Jinder Mahal, who reportedly half-assed it like crazy on the Indies when he was not in WWE, and a guy who has not improved a lick since he's been back in WWE, although he's gotten bigger muscles and, bigger veins.
Bigger pushes, at least.
Yeah, I guess his push has improved. He went from being a complete jobber to a guy that's more often than not a jobber. And this is ridiculous.
Did Finn Balor at the house show, so.
This is ridiculous.
What's that?
Freaking Big Show and Braun Strowman. Big Show apparently in his last match, allegedly his last match, according to Bleacher Report, got eliminated with Braun Strowman when half of the wrestlers eliminated Braun and half of the wrestlers eliminated Big Show.
No, that's not true. Braun eliminated Big Show by himself.
Oh, did he?
I believe so, yes. And then everybody else eliminated Braun. Started out with about 15 guys getting tossed out by Braun and Big Show within about the first 2 minutes. And then just kind of went on. It was interesting. Yeah, I thought Sami Zayn was going to win it, but I was pleasantly surprised, unpleasantly, and somebody didn't give security the script, but that's okay.
Yeah, what happened was there were a few guys left in the ring. Jinder Mahal knocked Mojo out of the ring, and then Rob Gronkowski just happens to be in the front row, Mojo's best friend, a.k.a. maybe the greatest, I don't say the greatest tight end yet that's ever played in NFL history, but already one of the greatest tight ends in NFL history statistically. And he poked fun at him, threw his drink on him, and of course it sets up the WrestleMania moment, the ESPN moment of Gronk entering the ring. But somebody didn't clue this security guard who ran her ass off to stop Gronk from going in, and he went back to his seat for the time being.
Or they made it look really good.
No, they did. One or the other. I couldn't tell that she wasn't in it at first, but after a while when they were stalling, I was like, okay, does this lady not realize that this is part of the show? And hey, not her fault. If nobody clued her in, at the end of the day, she's just doing her job. Yeah. And so eventually somebody smartened her up. They let Gronk hop the barricade, went in the ring, shoulder tackled Jinder Mahal, gave him a freaking Monty Brown style pounce, or Marcus Corvon for any of the old WWE ECW fans. And yeah, I know that's an obscure reference. And eventually, Mojo eliminated is it Killian or Killane?
I think it's Killian Dane.
Killian Dane. There you go. I don't know why I keep mispronouncing that. I know it was Big Damo. So he eliminated Big Damo, and then afterwards he eliminated Jinder Mahal. Yes, Jinder Mahal was the last person in this battle royal. And Mojo won. And he celebrated with Gronk.
I don't think Mojo's been on TV since the Royal Rumble, has he?
He's been on a little bit.
I mean, my God.
He hasn't done much. Yeah. No, he was on TV on SmackDown, but he was in that random 10-man tag.
Oh, yeah. See how easy I forget?
What annoyed me was not just Big Show getting eliminated like a geek in his last match, just that early in the match. It wasn't just Braun Strowman getting eliminated when the guy looks to be a legit headliner down the road if pushed correctly. What annoyed me even more was Sami Zayn being eliminated. The Usos, the brand new tag team champions who had a great match with American Alpha, looking like jobbers, just getting eliminated randomly. Same thing with American Alpha. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan of this. This is stupid. Whatever. Mojo wins. Seems like a nice guy. Seems like a fun guy to go to the club with. I want to hang out with him in real life, but I don't really want to see him wrestle.
Unfortunately, it seems like this Battle Royal started out as something great, and it's just turned into kind of a thing, and that's the sad part. But, hopefully not. I mean, you have a 4.5-hour show, almost, 5-hour show. You should put some more big names in it, kind of make it mean something, but I don't know. Kind of sad.
Yeah, it was pretty lame. We had Baron Corbin take on Dean Ambrose for the Intercontinental Championship. This got bumped to the pre-show. Okay match. I feel like Dean Ambrose has kind of been wrestling in slow motion in recent months, and this was the case here. I mean, there was even a Dirty Deeds that seemed like it was a little slow. I don't know. I mean, I get maybe it's the quality of opposition. He pinned Baron Corbin clean with the Dirty Deeds. 1, 2, 3.
They gave the match a whole 10 minutes.
Why did Dean Ambrose win
11.
this match?
For the same reason Neville did, I suppose.
So Baron can win on SmackDown?
I mean, I guess.
But if you're going to beat Baron Corbin, who you want to push as a future world champion, Mogul, why the hell is he losing clean like this? Never mind the fact that I argued on the pre-show that I did earlier on this channel that they should have Baron Corbin pretty much go undefeated from here on out up until maybe SummerSlam. Or maybe protect him at least like they did in NXT where he rarely lost. He loses clean. Middle of the ring. And on top of that, Dean Ambrose doesn't barely cover him. He gets on top of him and he does like a Naomi-style cover after she does like the rear view. And he just pulls the leg back. 1, 2, 3. Really? That's it? I'm not even the biggest Baron Corbin fan. But if you're going to have this guy win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal, if you're going to give him a cool finish for like the end of days, if you're going to keep touting him as a future world champion, he should not be losing randomly to Randy Orton via distraction, and he should not be losing to Dean Ambrose. Yeah. I guess that's all you got. All right. We had AJ Styles and Shane McMahon open the show.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, next year AJ is going to be on the pre-show because he went from match 2 last year to match 1 this year to,
Oh, God, don't say that.
Only one way to go.
Man. They had a surprisingly very good match, but the match was very polarizing. There was a part of me that loved the fact that AJ Styles took Shane McMahon's old ass, who can't be bothered to dye his damn hair black, and made it into a spectacle. And there's a part of me that saw Shane McMahon beat up AJ. Out jiu-jitsu AJ. Keep in mind, AJ Styles has some MMA training. AJ Styles has a legitimate amateur wrestling background. I think at one point AJ Styles was going to open up a wrestling academy, or he has one in Gainesville, Georgia. I know when I interviewed him 4 years ago, he said he was interested in opening up some type of academy or something. But it might be after he retires or something, but still. And then Shane did something that just nearly set me over the deep end until AJ got the win.
Can I guess what it is?
He kicked? Okay, go ahead.
Well, what, that he kicked out of every finisher AJ gave him, or that he reversed the
Phenomenal forearm?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no.
No. It wasn't. It was the 450 splash, wasn't it? When he was on the ground and
and he locked in the triangle or whatever the triangle was supposed to be.
Yes.
It was like a fry angle.
No.
No. What pissed me off was the Styles Clash kick out.
Well, how's about reversing the calf crusher?
That too.
I mean, he did it last year though with Undertaker, so it is what it is, you
And
know.
JBL kept saying, Shane McMahon, people don't realize, is built like an NFL linebacker. What?
You have to sell your product, okay?
I've interviewed a whole lot of linebackers in my day, Scott, in the history of this website.
Right.
Do you know how many of them look like Shane McMahon?
Not many.
0. I've interviewed a couple punters that look like Shane McMahon. Actually, they look more athletic than Shane. I think my accountant looks more athletic than Shane McMahon. So, yeah. Anyway, we got to the highlight of the match, or one of the highlights, where there was a point in time where ref got bumped. Yeah, a ref bump in the freaking opening match. They get trash cans, and Shane McMahon is able to stop AJ from going for a Van Terminator, a.k.a. Coast to Coast. Shane hits it perfectly. AJ kicks out. And then Shane decides, you know what? I'm going to try to kill myself one more time here. And I'm going to go for a shooting star press. And to his credit, this billionaire Mark almost got it up perfectly. Missed AJ. Splat on the mat.
Well, he landed on his knees. Let's first say that.
All
How
right,
he didn't blow out a knee is beyond me.
Yeah. And then AJ hit the phenomenal forearm and mercifully got the pin. One of the other highlights of the match, or lowlights, was Shane going for a diving elbow through the announcer's table, AJ moving, and then Shane crashing and burning. Also, AJ went for a drop kick when Shane was on the apron, and then Shane just flew into the announcer's table as well. So that was another highlight / lowlight. AJ gets his first WrestleMania win. At least he got a main event level spotlight all throughout this build on SmackDown. But I do not need to see Shane McMahon in any more matches. He seems like a cool... In spite of what I say about him as a wrestler, he seems like a cool guy in real life. I would definitely like to chill with him. Seems like a really nice guy. He's a very likable person. But I do not need to see this dude in the ring ever again. Ever. Russ Broski says, Shane's 47 and can go with some of the younger guys. Okay. But he's not a wrestler. So keep him out of my ring.
That's it. At this point, yeah.
Yeah. We had Kevin Owens beat Chris Jericho for the United States Championship. This was a really good match. Good heat. They didn't have to do any stupid spots. And it ended with Jericho being thrown to the outside. Kevin Owens hitting the pop-up powerbomb. Actually, just a regular powerbomb, I should say. Onto the apron. Rolling Jericho back in the ring. And getting the clean pin to win the U.S. title. Finally, they used that spot as an actual finish. I'm happy with this. Nothing bad to say about this match. It was perfectly good for what it was. I don't know what you thought about it.
I liked it. There was a huge inflatable list of Jericho on the entrance ramp, which was cool. I did the ending. I liked, but something about it. And there was a couple matches like this where different finishers were used tonight. So okay, fine. It was a good match. I mean, it was kind of what we expected. I think we expected the finish, and yeah, I mean, it was what it was. It was a good second match, good solid match. Unfortunately, it was yesterday now, so I can't say I remember too much about it. I don't have many notes on it, but yeah, I mean, I liked it.
Yeah,
it was keep it at that.
It was a very good match, very well worked. They didn't overstay their welcome. Okay, they did a good job. They had the crowd in the palm of their hand. Well done, AJ and KO.
You say they didn't overstay their welcome, but it did go fourth longest match in the night. So
yeah, but it was only the second match in the pay-per-view.
Right.
It didn't overstay its welcome at all.
No, it was good.
We had next Bayley versus Charlotte versus Nia versus Sasha. 4-way elimination match for the WWE Raw Women's Championship.
Very interesting match.
This only got 12 minutes.
Only 12.5 minutes.
I did not like the booking of this at all. At all. To me, this was a time where you could have finally had the big Sasha angle where she turns on Bayley and gets the pin. Instead, we had Nia Jax get eliminated by all 3 women. They covered her after a big power bomb. We had Sasha get eliminated by Charlotte, right?
Yes, it was with the
Natural selection, I think.
I don't believe so. No,
Was it
I
the
think it
figure
was
eight?
no. It was something, some other type of. Oh, she did the move on the outside, didn't she? And rolled her back in the ring, I think, and pinned her.
Oh, natural selection on the floor.
Yeah, I think was that it?
I'll look it up,
If
but
yeah,
she
it
did.
was something.
She
I
did
forget. I'm
something. It's been
sorry.
a long
Yeah.
night, folks. I'll see if I could find my notes on this. But yeah, Sasha got pinned. Crowd didn't like it. And then afterwards, we had Bayley versus Charlotte, and surprisingly, at least to my surprise, Scott, Bayley pinned Charlotte
The
with a
Macho Man
Macho Man
elbow.
elbow. Yeah, that was
Yeah,
a nice little moment.
it was a nice moment. It was a decent match. The issue is everybody thinks Charlotte or Sasha's going to turn, and it's going to happen tomorrow night.
Oh well, sorry to
But
interrupt. Charlotte exposed the middle turnbuckle,
that's
and
right.
then hit
Yes.
threw Sasha into it and got the pin.
Yeah. Well, we were close.
I mean, it was a nice moment for Bayley, and she won without Sasha's help, which I guess is somewhat of the story. But I still think it would have been a better story if Sasha turned on Bayley.
Well, that's going to happen tomorrow because after the WWE 24 special, the WrestleMania Monday, we know it's going to happen. But here's the funny thing: if you're going to book it like that, you have Sasha pin Bayley, by freak accident or whatever, win the title, eliminate her, and then tomorrow night you can just finish the angle off right then and there.
Yeah.
You tease it tonight, you finish it tomorrow. But now here we go, Bayley wins clean, and we're complaining that she wins clean. Like this is what we wanted to see, and yet we're not happy. We're
I just
complaining
think
about
it was just weird storytelling, especially when they had Bayley already win the title a few weeks ago, and she could have won it. If she was gonna win at WrestleMania anyway,
Like
she
do
should
the
just
big
won the
moment
title.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree, but
We had
So, but
arguably the highlight of the show by far. By far. I marked out here. I know you did. This honestly, this was like a tale of two shows. Up to this point, when we talk about our next match, after that match was over, I felt like we were watching one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time. And honestly, if you really look at it, I still think this is one of the better WrestleManias of all time. I should know already, I think it's blown away WrestleMania 32. Up to this point. Well, no.
yeah.
Up to this point, once we get this match started, it's already blown away WrestleMania 32. So let's get to our next match. We had Gallows and Anderson versus Sheamus and Cesaro, who had a really cool entrance with their tuxedos and kilts. Enzo and Big Cass. And then the New Day comes out. They didn't overstay their welcome either as hosts. Did a couple
Not
segments.
at all.
Yeah, they knew their role, did their thing. They opened the show to come out into the ring, did a little dance, whatever. By the way, Tinashe, had a really, really nice rendition of America the Beautiful. She's criminally underrated and really awesome. So for anybody complaining about Tinashe, I am going to delete your ass as one of the participants in this match would say. So New Day was teasing that they were going to be in the ladder match because after all, they are the hosts. Why not? And
Well, to be fair, they said they announced it's going to become a fatal four-way, and right at that moment, everybody already knew what was coming.
And at first they were like, whoo, and the crowd for the most part chanted delete, 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 which is incredible to think about. They're chanting for the Hardys before the Hardys come out. The Hardys have not been hyped on television one iota. And Matt Hardy, not single-handedly, but with Jeff Hardy, with his wife Rebby Hardy, with Senior Benjamin, with a couple other people. I don't want to say single-handedly, but the Hardys in that small crew turn their entire careers around.
Just think, if Jeff Hardy never got into a stupid motorcycle accident and broke his leg, none of this would have happened.
Remember how we were talking about how he was so stupid, and it's like, what are you doing, man? You're in like your late 30s. Why are you riding a dirt bike?
Yep, I remember that, yeah.
And I remember we hated that Matt Hardy skit at first because it was stupid at first. But
So dumb.
when you saw the freaking effort and the talent of Matt Hardy to be able to play that broken Matt Hardy character, I turned the corner. I was like, all right, you know what? This might be crazy. This might not be for everybody, but you know what? I'm going to support him because it's awesome. And also the fact that Jeff and him have been sober for years now. So congratulations to them. Those guys looked like they were going to be the next Von Erichs, unfortunately, for a time, and they turned their lives around. So what better way to take two dudes who are nice and clean, nice and sober now, and put them in their second ladder match in 2 days? In all seriousness, hopefully they're all right. I'm not trying to stir the pot or anything. It just, whether you have the background of the Hardys or not, 2 ladder matches in 2 nights is not conducive for good long-term health. But
Well, it's the adrenaline and
hey, it's
what it is.
it's their moment, man. So the Hardys
Okay.
came out, crowd went nuts. Matt Hardy had the broken streak in his hair. He had the broken Matt Hardy hairstyle.
Sort of.
Yeah, Jeff Hardy looked more like just regular Jeff Hardy. Matt was doing the smiling like broken Matt
He
Hardy.
didn't do the delete as he walked down the ramp, but they didn't, really do it out loud or anything.
Yeah. And I think I think the announcers dropped a couple broken references, and it was just great. This match was amazing. It was a train wreck. It was sloppy. It was all over the place. I don't care.
And Enzo survived. Go figure.
Enzo Amore survived. Just so much chaos in this match. It was just ridiculous. Man, we had poor Sheamus hit his lower back on the outside onto a ladder. We had Jeff Hardy go all the way up top to his gigantic ladder, do the same spot he's done over and over again, but still more death-defying every time I see it.
Yeah.
He was supposed to go through both Sheamus and Cesaro through 2 ladders, but instead he got mostly Cesaro, and Sheamus kind of just fell over.
That ladder didn't break.
Yeah. Put Cesaro through a ladder with a swanton bomb. It was insane. Matt Hardy grabbed both belts. Thank God Jeff Hardy rose from the dead. They celebrated. Crowd went absolutely nuts. And the Hardy Boys are your new Raw Tag Team Champions after just wrestling a ladder match the night before at the ROH Supercard.
And yet nobody is complaining that in 2017 the Hardys are tag team champions. Keep that in mind.
Yeah, well, hey,
We are
earned
some
it.
fickle fans, let me tell you.
Yeah, man. Can you believe that the Hardys in the last 30 days have been the TNA Impact Wrestling World Tag Team Champions, the ROH Tag Team Champions, and now the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions?
Not to mention any other independent tag team titles that they won as well.
This is a run we may never see again from a tag team.
Well, keep in mind the TNA part. They weren't taping, but technically they were still champions. So
Yeah.
it's kind of like an asterisk next to it, but still is what it is.
Still. Yeah, and they never
Yeah.
officially lost the tag titles in TNA. Man. And then we had John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maryse. This was a glorified squash match.
Yeah, 9 minutes of the match. It wasn't the match that mattered at all. It was the ending, which we all knew what was coming.
It was the ending afterwards. I gotta say though, Maryse got no offense. She got maybe a cheap shot on Cena, and that was it.
If that, yeah.
Well, a little background. I was listening to the ESPN podcast that they were doing on site at WrestleMania, and they interviewed Nikki Bella. Now, keep in mind, this podcast was like 4 hours long or whatever, but I forwarded to the Nikki Bella part because I was interested in hearing what she had to say about Maryse. And she told Peter Rosenberg, who also hosts Bring It to the Table, and it's on Hot 97 in my area. And she straight up said, and I'm giving you the Cliff Notes version, you could probably find the transcript online, that, long story short, she got offered a new WWE deal and the Total Divas deal like a few days before Raw. It was very last minute. One of her bosses, who she said she won't name, told her, you can't tell anybody. Just, we're gonna bring you back. And apparently she wasn't even working on a contract until after that WrestleMania. So this would have been 2013 after WrestleMania 29, which is pretty interesting. And apparently when she was brought back, she said most of the backstage didn't know she was dating Cena. So I don't know about that. But yeah, so she got re-signed. She said she did text Maryse and Kelly the night of, but she wasn't that good of friends with Maryse. She was kind of work friends. And anyway, the women that felt that they were betrayed, Maria Kanellis, Maryse, Kelly. I believe she said at least Maryse, might have been Kelly. I'm not sure if there was another woman. Apparently, they got so angry with Nikki that they made a fake allegation that her father assaulted them or whatnot. I believe she used the word assaulted them, okay, or whatever, physically confronted, whatever, to the point where they tried to get her father fired from his real-life job. And on top of that, she mentioned that months prior to that, he spent time on the unemployment line, and he had nothing to do with this. And rather than just attacking Nikki and Brie, they attacked her father. And she says that she will never forgive Maryse, I think she used the word bitch, and she said that her and Maryse don't make eye contact. They just say thank you, and that when they're doing business, and that's it. And that it's a little awkward with Miz and Cena, but they're still respectful to each other. But essentially, it killed her relationship with the Miz when they used to be really good friends. And yeah, she'll never forgive Maryse. So when I heard that, assuming that's true, wow.
That's got to be kind of awkward to work with somebody like that, regardless of it, being what it is. But that's got to be weird.
If that is true, Maryse is really lucky to even have a job right now. And she's been great in her role. But I'm just saying, trying to get somebody else's father fired? I mean, we don't, again, there's always multiple sides to every story. Who's to say Maryse was on a podcast and they bring it up? Maybe Rosenberg interviews her one day. Maybe I'm sure she'll have a different side to the story. But if that's true, you know what? I'm really not surprised that Maryse just got squashed. So, yeah. Nikki hit the TKO. Cena hit the AA. Double pin. Al Roker screamed into the mic, even though he had a live mic. And he called himself Chocolate Thunder.
Which, hold on. Did Al Roker really have to say that he's from the Today Show? Doesn't kind of everybody know that already? I guess people it's WrestleMania.
A lot of people
from other
countries.
Europe.
Yeah, so.
That's fine.
Yeah, it was a match. And afterwards,
Not really.
Crowd was booing. They were definitely for the Miz. They were chanting boo, delete, delete. And then Cena said that, do you remember, Nikki, when you were going into surgery and you were woozy and I asked you one question and you didn't remember what it was? I asked you if you would marry me. And
no, he said one day I'm going to marry you.
Oh, one day I'm going to marry you. Okay. Well, I've been waiting for the right time, and now's the right time. Got on his knee. Those cargo shorts that he wears finally came in handy. Pulled out this big-ass ring that might have been bigger than his bicep.
Might have been.
Put it on Nikki's finger. They kissed. It was a great moment. Crowd cheered.
And she said no. No, just kidding.
Yeah. She said yes. Actually, she didn't say yes. She just kissed him.
She just kissed him.
She was the happiest woman alive. It was a beautiful moment. It was a great moment for longtime Total Divas fans like myself that were waiting for John to finally propose.
I'm not even a Total Divas fan, and I'm not even going to lie to you. Maybe it was the couple Steve Weisers I had mixed in with a couple shots I had with my friend over, but it brought a tear to my eye, and that was really sad and embarrassing, but it happened.
Hey, man, you're a married man. You got engaged once. You know that.
I think that's what it is, yeah. Let's go with that, yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly. You remember when you proposed to April and made her the happiest woman alive, more often than not. And,
that's debatable.
So they celebrated, and then John Cena's music hits, and they celebrate some more. You know what? I hope when I propose to my future wife, if there is
that
ever...
it's on Space Mountain. No, anyway, sorry.
No, I hope that I have theme music and that it plays in the background where she says yes.
You want 70,000 people there as well?
Yeah, sure, why not? Hell, have the time is now,
That'd be awesome.
Like my time is up, our time is now.
So I guess when Total Bellas finally ends, overall, it's going to be the wedding episode, and that'll be the end of the show.
I hope they keep it going forever.
Yeah. All right, Mike Hood asks, was it a scripted proposal? No, I don't think it was scripted, but I mean, I guess spoiler alert that they might have already been engaged for a little while now, and that they just saved this for TV for the Total Bella show. Is it okay to say that?
No, I don't think Nikki was clued in at all. I mean, I'm sure she had I'm sure she had an idea that maybe he'll do it, but I don't think he was like, "Hey, by the way, I'm going to propose to you. I love you."
No, I think they were already engaged a while back. You don't think so?
I don't think so. I think they did it in the ring.
No.
So there's that.
I don't know. Just no.
It was great. It was a great moment.
It was a good moment.
Definitely a WrestleMania moment. We had Seth Rollins versus Triple H in a non-sanctioned match. This was really good. It went about 25 minutes. Triple H was working on the knee. My only disappointment with this match was no Samoa Joe. Which, if you really think about it, non-sanctioned match, it made absolutely no sense in storyline. Why was Samoa Joe not out there? How does James Ellsworth get a WrestleMania appearance before Finn Balor and Samoa Joe?
Yeah, I mean, well, there was no Daniel Bryan either tonight, so.
Yeah, but Daniel Bryan's a GM. Who cares?
Yeah, but he should still be there in some capacity, shouldn't he?
Who cares? He had his moment. Who cares?
I understand, but he should still be there. He's the GM of SmackDown. Exactly. He should be there.
I'm sure he's fine.
Well, whatever. But either way,
okay.
yeah,
Last time I
that's
checked, he has a
yeah.
pregnant wife to take care of, right?
Yeah, he does.
Exactly, Scott. So we had Seth Rollins beat Triple H clean, which was awesome. This was a great finish. They had set up a table earlier on the outside that I completely forgot about, and Stephanie was on the apron. Triple H tried to hit Seth when he was distracted by Steph. Triple H nearly hit Steph off the apron. Steph, she was like, oh my God, but she was okay. And then Seth said, screw you, bitch. Bam. Shoulder tackled Triple H into Steph. Steph went through the table that I completely forgot was there.
It was
awesome. This was, and this was after these guys were trying to each other hit the pedigree. Or pedigree each other, I should say.
Some cool reversals.
Yeah, I never thought there'd be that many cool reversals for a pedigree, but it was pretty cool. And Triple H got shocked. He was pissed. Was charging like a bull. Seth kicked him in the gut. Hit the pedigree. 1, 2, 3. This was an awesome match.
It's a very good match, yeah.
Yeah, but I think Triple H, as one of our listeners is saying, should stop bringing Stephanie, who is Super 8429. Triple H should really stop bringing Stephanie to his matches. Yeah, she got speared last year. This year she got put through a table.
And he had a really cool entrance as well with the police, with the motorcycle.
Yeah, that was really cool.
So that was cool. Yeah.
Some cool entrances tonight. Oh, Seth Rollins also had a torch.
Yes.
And
it took him a minute to come out. It was a huge citronella candle. You know, Florida has bad mosquitoes this time of the year, so he was protecting himself. But yeah, what he did with the torch, I don't know if you saw it, is he stuck it to the ground and the LED lights took like the fire all the way up to the ring. It was kind of like Kane's entrance, but stolen.
Yeah, no, it was great. The lighting effects were amazing. Yeah. This was by far one of the
Unless
best.
You were there live in person, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, once again, I've warned everybody before about WrestleMania obstructed views. They really need to figure out a way to not have an obstructed view. I know they want to do these outdoor WrestleManias. They want to do these stadium shows, but I really think it's inexcusable. And I was chatting with David Bixenspan on Twitter about, hey, when I had my experience at WrestleMania 29, I got a hold of WWE Fan Services. I got free tickets to a couple events. It was fine. But he brought up the point that, yeah, you might get comped, but it's not for the show that everybody planned their vacation around. It's not for the show that a lot of people flew overseas for. When I had an obstructed view at WrestleMania 29, I'm from New Jersey. It's a 45-minute drive to East Rutherford to the MetLife Stadium. Meanwhile, you have people flying in from the UK. You have people flying in from Asia, from Ireland, everywhere, all around the world. And can you imagine, Scott, if you took, say, like a 12-hour flight to Orlando, excited for WrestleMania, sit down, and you got a gigantic freaking pillar in your way.
I understand what you're saying, but this is not the first outdoor WrestleMania.
True.
Unless you don't have a TV, you know that you could have an obstructed view. You know where your seats are, you could have an obstructed view.
No.
Yeah,
because
to a degree. Now, look, production can come in and move things. I understand that might have been what happened to you.
Hang on.
But
when I had my ticket, it did not say obstructed view, which is why they were entitled to give me to either refund me.
Hey, when I was at WrestleMania 15, I didn't have an obstructed view, but I had them cables holding up the WrestleMania sign in my way. Same idea, man. I mean, it sucked, but unfortunately, I think that's just what it is. What if you had tickets on the aisle ramp, and then all of a sudden the ramp is 100 feet up in the air, and you don't get to see these guys as they walk to the ring?
I just think
that's not fair either.
I just think we shouldn't blame the consumer here. I think WWE needs to just do a better job. It's been going on for a long time.
I agree, but I think you also know what you're getting into when you go to this. I'm not blaming the people. I feel bad for them. If I flew 15, 16, 17 hours and spent thousands of dollars, I'd be pissed off. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But you do know what you're getting into as well.
I don't know. I just... Yes and no. I don't know. That's why I'd rather do an indoor WrestleMania. So I might do next year in New Orleans because it's a super dome and it's an actual dome.
You can still have an obstructed view, though, can't you? Depending on how they do the stage.
True, but if they do it like WrestleMania 30, then you won't.
Well, the ring, yeah, that's true. The ring didn't have anything. Yeah, you make a point.
We had Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt for the WWE Championship. This only went 10 minutes. This was so wacky. Bray
It
Wyatt
was
is
very disappointing. Yeah.
well. It started late, very late in the show. Poor guys. Bray Wyatt is literally the anti-Undertaker. Loses every big match except for the last couple months, and 0-3 at WrestleMania. Took on Randy. Here's the highlights of the match. Bray Wyatt, I believe, hit his sister Abigail at least once, and Randy kicked out. Orton hit an RKO. Bray kicked out, and the crowd went mild.
No, Bray didn't kick. It was on the floor, wasn't it?
Oh, was it on the floor?
Yeah, he never kicked out of the RKO.
Oh, okay.
Huh.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm pretty cool. I'm looking at a photo here
Oh,
about
yeah,
a half
yeah,
hour
oh, yeah,
ago.
I'm sorry. Yeah, he did an RKO on the floor, and Orton kicked out his sister Abigail.
Yeah.
And then, every time Bray did the spider walk, crab walk, whatever the hell it is, the ring would light up with like a projection of maggots, and then cockroaches and larvae. It was so creepy. Just weird. Nightmare-inducing.
It was kind of cool when the referee completely oversold it by running out of the ring every time.
Yeah. It was cool, but it got hokey at the third time. But it was. I hope they just leave it for WrestleMania. Don't do it ever again, please. Like that kid, like that kid that sang "The Whole World in His Hands." Don't do that ever again.
See, if I'm booking that, what I'm doing is I'm gonna have Bray maybe on the top row, maybe doing something, and have Randy do it and have it be a snake coming at him. You know what I mean? With like the mouth open.
Yeah.
Which actually that was Randy's entrance coming down the ring. He had the
with
snake
the snake
following him, which was freaking awesome.
Yeah, and I know Mr. Racer, who's the world's biggest Randy Orton fan, Manpreet, he's super happy about this because Randy hit an RKO. It was maybe the most lackluster RKO of all time. Got the pin, 1, 2, 3. And that was it. Randy wins the title. The era of Wyatt's already over. And that's it.
It was a very safe match, and I hate to say it, but it probably was the worst match on the show. Not counting the Battle Royal, unfortunately. It was a very strange match. Yeah, like the timing of it was bad. The hokiness of it was okay, but for all that hype, there was just nothing. And then it was like, okay, RKO, pin, good night.
Yeah, I mean,
Randy
the guy
Orton's
killed
champion in 2017.
The guy burned
now,
his sister's grave, and it just was not brutal enough. Like, we needed this match to kind of have some physicality. I mean, I think the problem is you had a lot of matches that already had to have some physicality. But, I mean, seriously, I don't know what. Even have, like, thumbtacks or something. I'm not advocating that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you could have gotten thumbtacks.
Well, how many matches can you have that are like no DQ, anything goes? I mean,
well,
you had two.
Well, you could have just had Bray bring in thumbtacks anyway against the referee's will, and then you could have had. True. And look, I'm not advocating that these guys have actual thumbtacks, but if they had like rubbery thumbtacks, I don't know, whatever you can bring that looks like thumbtacks that would hurt least compared to thumbtacks, you could have had that. And I'm just thinking about this off the top of my head. You could have Bray try to give Orton his sister Abigail. Orton reverses into RKO and pins Bray. At least that would look brutal. At least that would show like, oh my God, you know, Bray's sadistic and he tried to end Randy's career and, you know, whatever. And instead, this is kind of like, I mean, honestly, this was even more tame than WrestleMania 25 with Triple H and Orton. Thankfully, a lot shorter too. But if you remember that match, there was supposed to be a lot of heat, no heat, but at least Triple H won with a freaking sledgehammer.
Yeah, it was just a match for the most part. Sure.
Yeah, very, very disappointing. And I'm kind of surprised that Eric Rowan in his jumpsuit and butt sweat did not make an appearance here. Luke Harper, by the way, was in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. Also got eliminated, which pissed me off. Ugh. We had the Pitbull concert. It was cool. It was what it was. For anybody complaining, you know what? The people in the audience really need a bathroom break. So give them a bathroom break.
That's so mean, but it's so true.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not like Pitbull. Maybe I would have stayed for the performance, but if I had to go to the bathroom, I mean, what am I going to do? Am I going to go to the bathroom during a match, or am I going to go to the bathroom during the concert? Go to the bathroom during a concert.
Sure.
We had Brock Lesnar and Bill Goldberg. Damn. This match was kind of
interesting.
Kind of short, but it was
nothing kind of short about it, brother. It was 4 minutes. It was pretty short.
Yeah.
4.5 minutes.
A pretty damn short match, but it was maybe the greatest 4-minute match of all time. These guys just went at it. Brock Lesnar, people were booing Goldberg before. I was like, you geeks, this guy's trying his hardest to still be Goldberg. And then Brock just hit a few suplexes. Goldberg hit like 2 spears.
Got right up and speared him, yeah.
Yeah, and then on the outside, Goldberg speared Brock through the barricade. Awesome spot. Crowd chanted, holy bleep, and then chanted Goldberg. I'm like, you're damn right you better chant for Goldberg. Sorry, it's my inner 8-year-old talking here. And afterwards, Goldberg hit the jackhammer. Brock kicked out, hit a bunch of suplexes, hit the F5, and pinned Goldberg 1, 2, 3. Scott, you said that maybe Goldberg should have kicked out of at least one F5.
I think it just would have been cool for the crowd because the crowd was so into it at that point that just to have him kind of make a movement to kick out, I think the crowd just would have went nuts at that point. And then just have Brock hit an F5 and beat him. No big deal. Who cared?
Would have been cool, but I think the fears maybe
it was
Goldberg
overdone. I get it, but
it was still awesome. It was a great match.
And of course, leave it to the Orlando crowd to do the Ty Dillinger 10 chant when he was Brock was doing the suplexes. So
yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
So Brock is your new Universal Champion. If Undertaker wasn't retiring, this would have been a fine main event. We had the SmackDown women's match, and at this point in the show, I thought the match was going to get cut, but it didn't. Instead, they opted to go up until midnight. Actually, when did the show officially end?
Well, the show ended about 12:10ish with Undertaker.
Yeah.
Doing all this stuff. Apparently, the Undertaker's hat and jacket, hat, and gloves were still in the ring about a half hour ago.
Wow. Okay.
So they're just leaving them there. Yeah.
Damn. Can't wait till the WWE 24 on that. That's gonna be pretty emotional.
Yeah, that'd be cool. But the SmackDown women's match, I thought it was decent for what it was. 5.5 minutes. It was
very sloppy. Naomi single-handedly made this match interesting because she's the hometown girl. She had a great entrance. Crowd was so exhausted at this point, but they really loved Naomi. And Naomi was really over last week, too. When she did the Feel the Glow catchphrase, the crowd chanted with her. It was great. And I think finally somebody in WWE woke up and said, you know what? Naomi's one of the coolest people we have on our roster. Never mind the fact that she's absolutely gorgeous and extremely athletic. And I don't think she's like a great worker or anything. I'm not going to put her at the level of some of the Raw women as far as like in ring. Like I don't think she's really like super duper technically sound or anything, but she's just a really likable person. She works really hard. She's got some really cool moves. And, at the end of the day, man, like she's got a fan base. She's been on Total Divas for years. People like her. And yeah, she came out, did her cool entrance in the glow, glowing in the dark. And she pinned Alexa Bliss. Was it with the rear view?
No, it was a submission.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She hit the rear view, and then she locked in some wacky submission to tap out Alexa. I'm trying to see if there's a
name for it.
It was some weird.
Let's call it the glow sticks because she had her arms tied up.
Yeah, her arms tied up and her wrapped around her head, and Alexa tapped out. It looked cool, but it was very wacky.
Yeah.
And Alexa tapped out. Naomi got the win. Naomi celebrated with the championship. I can't believe they put over a hometown girl in her hometown at WrestleMania. The usual WWE edict is to have wrestlers lose in their hometowns, which I always think is the stupidest edict, unless it's John Cena. But it was a great moment. She worked hard for it. She's over. It's not just one of those things where, oh, you deserve it because you've been here for so long. No, she's over. She's maybe the most over woman on SmackDown besides Becky Lynch. Good for her. This was awesome. Also, I have no idea what the hell Becky Lynch was thinking with her outfit. It was...
What was it, the Irish? It was a bad ripoff of Sheamus and Cesaro's outfit. That's all.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I'm not like too up on Irish culture, so I don't want to judge it too much. But it just, I don't know. I don't know. Sheamus and Cesaro.
Like
cool.
you're not that you're going to complain about flesh-colored tights underneath. That's all I'm saying.
You're a married man, Scott. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
That's why I can say that. Notice these things.
All right. Anyway,
moving on.
It's been a long ass night. New Day came out and said that the attendance record is 75,245, which is
seventh highest all time, I believe now.
Which was most likely a work number.
Yep.
And Undertaker lost to Roman Reigns, and we mentioned that already. So overall, I gotta say, if you did not watch this WrestleMania, I mean, you might as well watch all of it. Just fast forward through the video packages and stuff if you're watching on demand and know that's
that'll
a long
slim
show.
it down to a cool 4 hours and 44 minutes. So
yeah. But if you want to go out of your way to see a few matches or whatnot, I'd say Neville and Austin Aries was very good. Jericho Owens was very good. AJ and Shane for the spectacle of wondering if Shane's going to try to kill himself somehow.
Unfortunately, you can probably skip both women's matches, and I don't want to say that, but it is true, I think.
Unfortunately, we're not that great. No, not at all. But, timing-wise, it was tough.
Watch the tag title match.
Oh my God! Definitely, the heat for that match was insane. It was great. It was great to see two dudes come home. Two legends. The John Cena moment was nice, although you might see it online on all the websites. Seth and Triple H was awesome. Seth versus Triple H was awesome. Bray and Randy was nothing. The animated GIFs are more entertaining. Goldberg Brock, it's only 5 minutes. Go back and watch that. Watch the ending of Undertaker Roman. But if you miss the match, you really don't have to watch that match, unfortunately. So, Scott, it is now 1:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let us look to the future here. What the hell do you see happening with Roman Reigns?
I don't know. I see him going to SmackDown at least to keep him away from Brock Lesnar for a while, but tomorrow night's going to be... I hope that they don't have him on Raw tomorrow night, because that crowd, I think, will kill him. But they will, and that's sad.
He's one of the biggest stars. He has to be on Raw.
I know. Unfortunately, it's funny, the whole time they didn't mention anything about SmackDown on Tuesday. Everything was, Raw and WrestleMania, and SmackDown's live Tuesday, and it should be a pretty kick butt show. It'll be interesting to see, will Undertaker come out tomorrow night and officially retire? Is he just gone?
I think he's just gone, and he just gets inducted into the Hall of Fame maybe next year. And actually, ironically, it makes sense. Maybe the thing is this. I think a part of them wants to induct Daniel Bryan in New Orleans next year, because that's where he had his biggest moment. But it also would make sense to induct The Undertaker, because that's where the streak was broken. But you might want to save one of those guys for another year, because you're going to eventually run out of headliners for the Hall of Fame.
Well, have they announced where 34 or 35 is going to be yet?
No.
Is it Minnesota? I thought I heard. No.
It was rumored that it might be Minnesota, but I even heard rumors about Philly a while ago.
Yeah, I heard that too.
We'll see.
Because I thought, isn't Undertaker from, I know he's from Texas and all, but didn't kind of get a start up in Minnesota area with AWA?
I don't think so.
Or am I mistaken?
I think you're mistaken. He might have briefly stopped there, but he got a start in the South with Dutch Mantel.
You're right. Okay,
in Tennessee.
Right.
Yeah, no worries. I think, I'll Google it real quick. That would be interesting. I have no idea if Undertaker ever actually worked for the Indianapolis territory. Or, not Indianapolis, I'm sorry. Minneapolis. Sorry, it's way too late here.
It's very late, yeah.
It is very, very late. Let's see. Undertaker AWA. No, I don't think he ever had a stop in AWA. So, hey, whatever. You learn something new every day.
Yeah.
I don't know what to predict. I think knowing how ignorant they've been with Roman Reigns, I think he's going to stay a babyface. At the moment, I believe he's the default merchandise seller, the top merchandise seller. But that's amongst full-timers, and nobody is still touching John Cena. And
let's see what happens if they bring out some new Hardys gear.
True, yeah. But I'm saying, as far as guys that don't have the cachet of the Hardys,
right?
Is Roman Reigns? Look, I'm not saying Roman Reigns isn't over. I'm not saying Roman Reigns isn't a good worker. But is he ever going to get to the point where he can truly replace John Cena as a top guy? It's tough. It's tough to do that when you had guys like Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart have to replace Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage. That was really unfair. But he needs to make somewhat of a difference at the box office, and I really don't think he has. Even if he has some high merch sales, has he made a difference in ticket sales? Has he made a difference in ratings? I don't think so. And I think no matter what anybody says, that still matters in today's business. Ratings and ticket sales. No matter how much they convince themselves they don't. They might want to convince themselves it does because their contract's coming up in a couple of years. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. I guess that's the intriguing part, because Finn's coming back. Although Finn's already in his mid-late 30s. Nakamura could debut on the main roster after losing to Bobby Roode. For those that missed our recap of NXT TakeOver Orlando, I did recap it from top to bottom along with all the other crazy events of WrestleMania weekend on the pre-show podcast. You could skip my WrestleMania predictions and go right to the NXT TakeOver recap. But overall, great show. Really great show, and it looks like Nakamura and the Revival are headed to the main roster. Drew McIntyre was shown in the audience. He's re-signed with WWE. They confirmed there's going to be a women's tournament, 32-woman tournament, taking place in the summer, kind of like the Cruiserweight Classic. That's exciting. And is there anything else I really missed, Scott, as far as WWE related before we head on out?
Well, NXT debuted new titles, which, to be honest, I wasn't a fan of, but we'll let that go.
I didn't mind them.
I don't know. But they were kind of whatever. No, not much. Crowd was hot all night. I mean, they were quiet on TV, but I had a friend there live, and he said the crowd was pretty good all night.
I thought they were pretty hot.
Man, there were some parts it was definitely quiet. It seemed quiet anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, it was a good weekend. We still have 2 nights to go technically. Well, 1 night to go technically.
Yeah, because it's freaking Monday. Jeez.
And I still gotta let my dog out, so there you go. That's gonna be fun at 1:30 in the morning, without a yard. But
you do what you gotta do, bro.
And literally, yeah. No, overall good weekend. I mean, I'm glad we're here at 1:23 in the morning. Goodness, WrestleMania is now a 2-day event, literally. Yeah, I mean, not much really we can say.
You know what? I got an idea.
Thank you, Taker.
I got an idea, Scott.
Yes, sir.
Let's get some sleep. Let's sleep on this. Let's let this simmer for the next couple nights or so, and then let's circle back for the WWE Week in Review. We'll talk about the WrestleMania aftermath, and once we gather our thoughts and gather our bearings along with everybody that's watching and listening to us right now, thank you very much for taking the time to do that. I think we'll have a better idea of what the future holds for WWE, at least in the next 6 months to a year.
Yeah. Real quick, I'm going to make one prediction. I talked to you about this the other night. You did not like it, but I'm going to say it out loud because when it happens, I want my just due. That
Okay.
On Tuesday, you know what's coming.
Go ahead, Scott.
On Tuesday night, Randy Orton's going to come out with that title. He's going to get challenged by Nakamura. Nakamura's going to win the WWE title on his first night on SmackDown Tuesday. It's going to drive the ratings up. It's going to be great. Fred thinks it's not going to happen. It's going to happen because it's what they have to do. See, he's speechless. That's how good it was. Now, Fred said to me, hold on. Now, Fred said to me, well, Finn Balor, they didn't do this to, or something to that effect. And I said, no, they did. He had 2 matches before he won the title.
Yes, he still went like a month before he won the Universal title.
Doesn't matter. And what did it do for him? He got injured, and he's still not back on TV, and he's fighting Jinder Mahal at house shows. So there you go.
You just you made an argument against your point, though, and you're against your prediction. Because you're saying that Nakamura is going to win the title, get injured, and then a year later wrestle Jinder Mahal.
I'm saying that you said, well, he had 3 matches at least, so, and then he won the title. That's all I'm saying. And he got hurt. No, Nakamura will still probably get hurt. But no, I think that, look, you want to make an impact on SmackDown, pardon that pun. You bring Nakamura up, you give him that title, you see what happens from there. Why not? At this point, what do you have to lose?
Yeah, fair enough. Although I think there is something to be said about the journey, and building up the journey. But
because let's be honest, in 2017, Randy Orton does not need to be champion. I said that just for one specific person.
Ooh, for Manpreet. All right.
Sorry.
Lastly, Hall of Fame also went ridiculously long, but go out of your way to watch the DDP speech, especially if you're an old WCW fan. He happens to be a good friend of mine, so I'm biased, but I love this speech. Beth Phoenix had such a ridiculously classy speech, thanking every woman that came before her that helped influence her, and even shouted out China, which was wonderful. We got a cameo from her husband, Edge. Kurt Angle's speech was awesome. Those are probably the 3 speeches that really stood out. Rick Rude's family speech was really nice. It was short. It was sweet. And you know what? Eric LeGrand, because him and I are both Rutgers alumni. Great dude.
I thought the Rock Hall Express did a good job. I mean, they all did a good job, really.
They all did a good job. It was just really long. So try to skip the video packages and just, get to the speeches. Yeah. Maybe if you're at work, put the WWE Network in the background and just listen to the speeches. They were pretty good. And, we'll be back later this week. I will be back Thursday morning, as I am every single Thursday morning on Manhattan Neighborhood Network. You can see it on your screen right here. I'll put some info in the description as well. For those that don't know, TSC News is now on television in the New York, New Jersey area, North Jersey, closer to Manhattan. If you're in the vicinity of Manhattan, New York, you can watch us live on MNN2, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, Thursday mornings. FiOS 34, RCN 83, TWC, that's Time Warner Cable, 56, channel 56 and 1996. It's a half-hour a week of going over some of the latest stories in pro wrestling and mixed martial arts, as well as looking back at some of our most memorable moments, and us interviewing some unique people related to the pro wrestling and MMA industries. We'll try to get some football players as well as we get closer to football season, but we're trying to keep it a little combat sports focused this week. Last week, we had Will Ferrara of Ring of Honor in one of my favorite interviews. He's a guy that not a lot of people knew about. Really cool. Talked video games, talked Ring of Honor, talked the Hardys, ironically enough. Talked about the Ring of Honor Dojo, so you can check that out. It's uploaded right now on youtube.com/thesportscourier, this YouTube channel, as well as soundcloud.com/TSC News. And if you're not in Manhattan and you're wondering how the hell can you watch TSC News on TV, easy. Go to mnn.org. That's mnn.org. Click on the MNN2 link, which is the lifestyle channel, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. You can follow me on Twitter for the links and everything. Click on it Thursday morning, and you can watch me talk about pro wrestling and mixed martial arts to a massive audience. So, thank you all for the support. Scott, thanks for chatting with me. Everybody that's watching, that's listening right now, thank you very much. Again, if you haven't subscribed already, youtube.com/thesportscourier. Check me out on MNN. Check us out on soundcloud.com/TSC News. If you don't like SoundCloud, you don't have the app, you could find our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, you name it, we got it. Whew. Long night, Scott. Long night.
Yes, sir. Thank you once again. Great, great to do this with you again. And yeah.
And one last thing, because Manpreet said that he's on the West Coast and you have to wake up 6:30 a.m. on Thursday to watch me live. Well, Manpreet, my show on Manhattan Neighborhood Network is available on demand next day on YouTube and on SoundCloud. So we got you covered, my friend. Until next time, everybody, as always, enjoy the matches, and thank you very much, Mark Calloway, a.k.a. The Undertaker, on an incredible career. We truly appreciate the memories.